Absolutely, Unison is backing this campaign locally. Very clearly we know that the council housing or lack of housing, of real affordable housing in Southend has a massive impact on the community. And we know from the point of view of, if look on Unison's website, a lot of our workers in Southend, whether they be those people trying to provide housing on the housing list of 1,500 and not being able to because there isn't anything out there, to those our teaching assistants. And very clearly our teaching assistants on 18,000 a year, it would take them around 44 years to actually get a deposit together to be able to afford a house in Southend. If you look at 30,000, somebody earning 30,000 a year would cost £42 a week, would take 18.8 years to get a deposit together. This is absolutely disgraceful. People cannot afford to live in a society that doesn't provide social council housing. This is what used to be the general ethos. It was council housing was there for people within the community. That has been taken away by the profiteering and privatisation that this government's policies have led to in decimating our affordable housing, council housing across the area. Very clearly, Unison is against that. And I think going forward, this campaign is important and vitally important, because what happens actually when you put in private housing out there, we're paying the rent to those private profiteers. The housing money that comes into Southend at the moment, 80% of that post this crisis used to go on maintaining, securing, developing council housing. Now 80% of that money that comes in goes to paying benefits. Where do those benefits go to? Those benefits goes into the pockets of profiteers and private landlords. That is just an absolutely ridiculous situation. And in fact, sometimes those benefits will be paid to what were council houses before they were sold off under the right to buy. So again, very clearly, it's such a contradictory, ridiculous situation that we've got ourselves into. And I think very clearly there is a lot to do about campaigning for council housing generally up and down the country, but this campaign here locally is vitally important to allow Southend to support their key workers. And I think we need to see that councils and councillors and MPs within Southend are backing this campaign, but also backing this campaign, but actually working with other councils to challenge the national perspective on council houses, to make changes. We've made changes already. We now can borrow. Councils can borrow up to the hilt. They're not capped. And actually that pressure from below will make a difference, and that's why this campaign is vital, because there'll be people out in the streets, there'll be people demonstrating that will change the policy that we have today and make it a better world for everyone. Just really wanted to make a few small points from that. I think very clearly, from Unison's point of view, it is building housing for need and not for profit, and that's sort of a basic line that we should be supporting. And I think absolutely the questions, a 50-year loan, yes, take a 50-year loan, because my goodness me, the investment that I have in the community will be massive going forward. And I think that's quite important that they should be looking at that and taking all the grants that are available to do so. And if there is, the planning laws, and I think it's about the accountability. It's saying, well, will the councillors support this campaign? But it's up to us also to make them accountable. And I think that's what you're talking about. It's about being out in the streets, having that publicity. And I think that's what the campaign has done really well already. And I think we just need to continue to do that and ensure that we are outside meetings and making decisions. We're already lobbying those people over and over again about making those decisions. So that's really important. And I just think, again, it's just so, it's mad, isn't it? That is public land, as we all know. It was paid for through our taxes years ago. It was owned by the NHS, and it's been brought back into the government. Okay, the government now have bought it for 7.8 million, which is absolutely, cheap peanuts. And then also through the council housing sell-offs that happened to the eggs and the manufacturer, what we've seen is that all the profits, those profits of those council houses need to come back into the communities. The majority of that money went back into the government. So it's almost like we're paying thrice over, do you know what I mean, to have our housing, if not even more than that. And I think that's really, why very clearly that message that it's public land, and therefore we should have public land, which is our land, and council housing, not private housing.